A driver is in critical condition after his car flew into a pole this afternoon.
Tornadoes and intense thunderstorms swept across the Midwest. We'll have video of the damage and the storm.
And an overnight shooting in Jefferson City injured 4 people. We'll hear from a woman who heard it all. KOMU 8 News First at 5 starts now.
Live from Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News First at 5.
A driver is in critical condition after his car went airborne today. Good afternoon. I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Emily Hauger. The accident happened at the intersection of Grindstone Parkway and Rock Quarry Road. Police say the driver of the vehicle was heading east on Grindstone Parkway when he struck a median. This caused the vehicle to go airborne and hit a traffic light pole. Sergeant John Dye is not sure how fast the vehicle was going at the time. Rescue crews took the driver to University Hospital and he is now in critical condition. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
The National Weather Service confirmed several tornadoes touched down in Illinois today. This video comes from Washington, Illinois. Take a look. It took just minutes for a tornado to wipe out a neighborhood there. There are reports of people trapped in buildings in that extensive damage. And wild weather in Chicago forced a delay in mandatory evacuation of Soldier Field during today's matchup between the Bears and the Ravens. After dark skies loomed over the field for most of the first quarter, fans were asked to clear the stands. Heavy rain and lightning sent the teams back into the locker rooms, and more than 60,000 fans took shelter. But after nearly 2 hours, players warmed up again and continued the game in windy but safer conditions.
The powerful tornado-spawning thunderstorms also moved through the St. Louis area today. Downtown St. Louis was hit hard by a severe thunderstorm with winds topping 60 miles per hour. You can see the wind whipping the trees outside the courthouse. Suddenly, a wall of water and wind sweeps around the courthouse tower and down the street. The weather left tens of thousands without power.
In Wisconsin, a suspected tornado caused some problems there. It happened in Dodge County, about 35 miles northwest of Milwaukee. Several storage sheds, garages, barns, and other buildings were destroyed. No injuries reported, though. The National Weather Service is still working to determine if it actually was a tornado that touched down there.
Now, with all this talk about severe weather, let's send it over to Rosie to see what we're looking at in town.
Thanks, Emily. Nothing is up except for wind advisory here in mid-Missouri. We had 5 counties on our eastern side earlier tonight under a tornado watch. That actually went up pretty early today and it went into effect at 10 a.m. But thankfully, we were so quickly out of the area that really was part of the concentration that we were allowed to see a lot of those tornado watch counties expire early. Here's a peek at the satellite and radar composite we've got from the last 12 hours. We really were the originators of where this entire system has come from. And as this massive low pressure system continues to push up off to the north and east, it's just continuing to encounter really favorable conditions for strong and tornadic cells. So that's the reason that we're going to continue to see a very active weather pattern tonight here across portions of the Midwest and heading farther east. The good news for us is that not much is left, but you can see here tornado watches still up for Wisconsin, portions of Indiana, all of the state of Ohio, and heading down into Kentucky and a little bit farther south even. So we're going to continue to see a lot of active weather going on later tonight. Good news here is that some of our wind advisories have already started to be peeled back as well. We could still see winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour and up to 50 miles per hour later on this evening. We've already picked up 48 miles per hour earlier on today. That high wind advisory should be expiring by 6 p.m. So we'll give you a better breakdown on everything that's been happening over the course of the last 24 hours, not just here in mid-Missouri, but happening all across the United States. I'll give you all of those details coming up in just a few minutes.
Police say they still don't have a suspect after 4 people were shot on Madison Street in Jefferson City late last night. 3 of the victims were treated at a local hospital and 1 victim was transferred to Columbia Hospital. Jamie Shepard says she and her son were closing their restaurant when they heard gunshots. She called the police and says they arrived quickly. Shepard's concerned about incidents like these happening near up-and-coming areas of the city.
This is the alley we drive through to leave our work, you know. We're just like 2 minutes from the most visited historical place in Jeff City, Central Dairy, and all this wonderful new stuff. And then back here, we got this little building.
KOMU 8 News spoke to 3 residents who live within a block of the shooting location. Donna Heather said she saw police arrest a man in her front yard shortly after the shooting, but police say a suspect has not been found. A Springfield-based nonprofit that's helped out with relief to the Philippines has gotten some help from Comedy Central host Stephen Colbert. On Colbert's Thursday show, he encouraged his viewers to make donations to Convoy of Hope in Springfield for Philippines typhoon relief. About 16 hours after the show aired, the organization received more than $100,000 because of Colbert's text message-based donations.
The 4th annual Fall into Art Festival brought more than 50 artists from across Missouri to Columbia this weekend to showcase their work and sell it. Art demonstrations, music, and creativity filled the halls of the Parkade Center. Everything from weaving to wood carving to photography to jewelry was on display. There was even a chance for event goers to vote for their favorite artist. Artists say the event gives them a chance to present their hard work to a large group of people.
Well, this is a free enterprise, and it's a pure expression of it, where someone gets an idea to make something handmade and do it with love and care and bring it here, and people recognize it as quality.
We had tremendous number of people coming through. We were very happy about it. It was a great show.
Neuenhausen says the event has grown in size each year, and she hopes to have 70 artists next year with an even bigger variety of booths.
In your national news, President Obama plans to visit JFK's gravesite this week as the nation marks the 50th anniversary of his passing. President Obama makes his visit Wednesday to honor two of President Kennedy's lasting initiatives, the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Peace Corps. The president and his wife, Michelle, will be joined by former President Bill Clinton and his wife, Hillary, at the wreath-laying ceremony. A huge fire ripped through a historic landmark in a small North Carolina town on Saturday. The blaze destroyed a 60-year-old bowling alley and skating rink in the northern part of the state. It took 15 different departments to contain the blaze and battle those flames. Crews were on the scene late into the evening on Saturday watching for hot spots. Residents say they're sad to see the longtime landmark go.
Medical workers in a hospital in the Philippines are making slow progress because of shortages of water, electricity, and medical supplies. Typhoon Haiyan swept the region a week ago, shattering hospital buildings and leaving only a few hospital wards to use. In the largest public hospital, a lack of drug and blood supplies has prevented doctors from performing most operations. Many patients had to transfer out to bigger hospitals. Some died from infections and excessive bleeding.
It's gone from 24 girls 2 years ago to more than 100 now. We'll tell you about a Columbia program teaching about perseverance.
When authorities found him, he was cuffed to the porch with a dead chicken around his neck. Find out what happened to the young boy coming up.
And right now you're taking a live look over the airport. It's 5:07 and this is KOMU 8 News First at 5, coverage you can count on.
The First Alert Weather Cam is brought to you by your Heart of Missouri Chevy dealers.
Welcome back, everyone. 5:09 now, the time on your Sunday. Boy, has it been an active day, and things aren't calming down yet. This is a system that's continuing to keep being fueled as it even continues to push to the north and east of where it started, really, which was right here in mid-Missouri on our eastern edge. So I want to give you a look as to what's happening with our severe weather outlook, where the National Weather Service is thinking that really intense storms could be lying. Often we see the yellow. Every once in a while we get to the moderate. Not often have I even seen pink on this graphic, so you know it's a really big system. And this is what a lot of people are calling second season. It's what we see sort of when we get the spring to summer transition. That's what oftentimes happens here in November as well, because we still have such warm ground temperatures. And so a lot of things are really being kicked off here across the Midwest and pushing farther east. A big deal that has been going on with the systems that have been happening today, and we're talking 12 to 15 tornado warnings at any point in time, 3 fatalities confirmed at last check, is that a lot of these tornadoes that are touching the ground are rain wrapped, which makes it really difficult for a radar to pick up on whether or not a tornado is there whatsoever. So there's a lot of skill that forecasters are having to use right now in order to keep folks, especially heading off to our eastern side, safe. So let's take a peek as to what's creating this sort of weather and certainly why we're kind of out of the thick of it. Well, this is a little bit hard to kind of envision, but this is actually a jet stream. So this is actually happening above what's going on here on the surface with those low pressure systems and high pressure systems. This is going to be kind of the source of air. What we need is a lot of moisture. We need a fair amount of lift, and we need winds kind of coming right at each other. And more than that, we need the powerful punch of energy between warm air and cool air. We have got all of those ingredients happening directly to our north and to our east. So that's really what's creating, I can't believe I'm going to say it like this, but kind of a night of the twisters. Things aren't even calming down yet. So what's happening for us here in mid-Missouri? Well, the news is good in comparison. We actually are sitting kind of right in the middle of a cold front right now that actually should eventually, once it sweeps through, shut off any chances of any severe weather to continue to be brought about. And then we'll have high pressure as we head into your Monday. So things are actually going to cool down a fair amount, but we are going to be looking at sunshine as we head into tomorrow. And you can see exactly where this cold front's lying right now. We're about 9 degrees cooler in Kansas City, and we're actually warmer over in St. Louis. So that cold front is sitting right across the state of Missouri, and it's going to continue to push through tonight, which means that overnight temperatures tonight and getting ready for Monday morning are going to be a big drop on where they've been recently. And today, top temperatures actually hit a high relatively early on. We hit a high of about 71 degrees between 9 and 10 a.m., and it's been kind of a downward slide after that. Temperatures still not too bad, but certainly they'll be getting cooler late tonight. Mostly clear skies expected. Breezy conditions continuing. Could still see wind gusts up to about 30 miles per hour as we get ready for Monday morning. And overnight lows otherwise going to be back into the middle 30s. For tomorrow afternoon, as a reflection of that cold front, highs will only be into the middle 50s, but the sunshine will still be out. And I do think we're going to be holding on to some vestiges of just some gusty conditions. Looking like Tuesday's still going to be okay. We do have about a 40 to 30% chance of rain affecting us Wednesday, trickling into Thursday, and then rain showers actually looking likely for Friday, guys. Have you all been home? I know that my power went out right as I was heading out the door, and I think that that's been an issue for a lot of folks here in mid-Missouri. Gusty winds. So are you power on?
As far as I know, my power was on.
I was actually out reporting today, and the power kept flickering where I was at.
Yep.
So yeah.
We hope folks who have power going off get it back on pretty quickly here.
Thanks, Rosie.
Yep. Thank you. One group in Columbia is working hard to teach young girls how to live healthy and be confident. The Heart of Missouri Girls on the Run is a group of girls in a 10-week program that teaches girls from 11 elementary schools around the city. The training is twice a week and includes lessons on how to deal with pressures from society, healthy living, and setting goals.
Today there's so much pressure to be a certain way, to look a certain way, and this empowers them to be themselves and know that that is perfectly wonderful and find their place and a healthy track. They build so much confidence through this program that when they get into middle school and the negative pressures start attacking them, they can handle that.
The final goal for the young girls is to complete the 5K race, and yesterday they finally did. Community members joined 140 elementary school girls from the program to run in a 5K race at Stevens Lake Park. Leaders for the program say they've come a long way from when the program first started.
2 years ago, we stood right in this spot with just 24 girls from 2 schools. And word has spread, and it's so successful because they come away feeling so empowered and so good about what they are doing and who they are. And it's a contagious thing. So it's going to keep going.
The program is still expanding, with Grant Elementary and Shepherd Elementary joining the program in the spring.
Believe it or not, Black Friday is right around the corner, so you may want to start thinking about your shopping plans.
And store opening times seem to get earlier every year. That's in today's market report.
Another week of strong earnings reports led to record highs on Wall Street. This is your weekly market report. The Dow closed at a record high of 15,961 Friday, pushed up by Exxon to finish up 1.27% for the week. The Nasdaq finished up 1.7% for the week to close at 39.85, and strong performance from energy and materials stocks pushed the S&P up to a new high this week. The index closed up 27 points to finish at 1798. The Department of Health and Human Services unveiled disappointing health care numbers this week. Only 106,000 Americans have enrolled in the program, which is only 1.5% of what the Budget Office had projected for 2014. The state exchanges had better luck than the troubled federal site, with 75% signing up on state sites. In Missouri, only 751 total people signed up using the federal exchange. Holiday shopping is expected to be less this year than in 2012. A Gallup poll shows the average American plans to spend $704 this holiday season on shopping. That's down from last year when consumers said they planned to spend $786. The good news for retailers, though, is that in past years, people keep spending more than they anticipated, which isn't too surprising. One of the things we're watching this week is actually those retail sales. On Wednesday, we'll get numbers on October retail sales, and then we'll also get existing home sale numbers that same day. With rising mortgage rates, that'll help show the strength of the housing market. And everyone is watching the Fed closely to see when tapering might begin. The minutes from their meeting are released Wednesday as well. One last note, Walmart announced this week that it will be joining the long list of retailers opening on Thanksgiving Day this year and open their stores at 6 p.m. And Sears and Kmart have announced online Black Friday sales will start a full week early for Sears and 5 days early for Kmart, but those sales are only available for members. That's your weekly market report. For more info on the markets or holiday shopping, visit our website at KOMU.com. We'll be right back.
Coming up, dangerous severe weather in the Midwest. The latest from the Philippines 10 days after the typhoon, and the real threat from plastic guns tonight.
Disturbing allegations against a North Carolina couple after deputies find a foster child handcuffed to the porch with a dead chicken around his neck.
As CNN's Tina Terry reports, it all started with a complaint about a pig running loose in the neighborhood.
Tony Bigham was watching as that black potbelly pig ran through his neighborhood. He was even watching when a Union County deputy drove up to investigate the complaint.
The deputy walked around and looked and didn't see anything, so finally he went up back into the woods right there to the house to try to find out what was going on there.
The deputy stumbled upon this, Dorian Harper and Wanda Larson's house. He said the 11-year-old foster child was cuffed to this porch, shivering in his underwear with a dead chicken around his neck. Soon Harper appeared and the deputy tried to question him, but the deputy says a child opened the door and several large dogs came after him.
I'm gonna say 5 minutes, and when he come out of there, he was walking fast. So I knew something was going on.
Soon backup arrived, arrested the couple, and charged them with several crimes like child abuse, inflicting serious injury, and cruelty to animals. Inside, deputies say they found deplorable conditions and 4 other adopted children between the ages of 8 and 14. All of the kids were taken into protective custody in another county.
They were unsafe conditions for the children to be in.
We spotted a yard full of trash and animals running all around. Deputies told us they're still investigating and the couple could face more charges.
That's uncalled for.
For now, neighbors like Bigham are relieved.
That was awful. I just wished I'd have known that was going on.
Dorian Harper is an emergency room nurse at CMC Union in Monroe, and Wanda Larson is a Union County DSS supervisor.
Now here's a look at what we're following for KOMU 8 News at 9. The anniversary of President John F. Kennedy's assassination is coming up later this week. We'll talk about what some in mid-Missouri had to say about the well-known conspiracy theories.
And Democrats and Republicans continue to focus on the Affordable Health Care website. Why some say the act could be a defining issue in the 2014 election.
And one more quick peek as to what's going on with your weather. I think we're going to be pretty quiet, minus the fact that those breezy winds will continue here in mid-Mo. You can see just a little bit of light to moderate rain shower activity. That might nick our most northern and eastern counties. We're talking Randolph, Monroe, maybe even Audrain a little bit. But that's just going to be light shower activity, folks. We are out of the realm of severe weather. High wind advisory going to continue until 6 p.m. 2 hands on the wheel. There's nothing more important than staying safe if you're out on the roadways. Otherwise, we'll be dropping into the middle 30s to get Monday morning started.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.